Hello everybody, this is a tutorial. We're going to see a couple things. We're going to see the gravity field, which is here in dynamics. We're going to work on dynamics, and as you can see, gravity is right here, and soft and rigid bodies, the active rigid body and the passive rigid body applied to an object, to a module. In this case I have this piece that could represent one of your machine pieces that you have done for class. So let's start with it. I'm going to create a plane in the bottom, and I'm going to scale it up so we have a base for this guy to fall down and hit while it's falling. I'm going to select it, and I'm going to copy it, Control D, W, and move it apart, and Shift D. As you know, the same copying system will be repeated. Select those four again, Control D, move, Shift D. I don't know if my computer's going to handle this, but hopefully yes. If you guys have a better computer, you should at least double or triple this number of unit to get a more interesting composition at the end. I'm gonna place this in the middle and slightly thicken it up so they actually have more of a span to fall down. The next step is very simple. We're gonna select these guys, they're gonna fall down, and we're gonna select soft rigid bodies and create active rigid bodies. Great. And now to the same guys that I have selected, I'm gonna go to field and gravity. This shows up. Gravity has many properties that we can change, and we have shown this in other tutorials, so I'm not going to get into that. But you can pretty much set the magnitude to be higher, the attenuation to be different, the direction. As you see, the Y is minus, so it's going in the vertical and minus Y direction, which is good. Is what we want. If we play this now, well, let me change the time here, time frame to 400, just to have a big number there. And I'm going to press 4 so we see this, and doesn't have to calculate the shades. My computer won't handle it very well. I'm going to play it, see what happens. See, it doesn't bother at all about the plane, so we somehow need to tell these guys to hit this object. No. So the way to do that is as simple as selecting the plane in this case and say passive rigid body. Okay, the moment we do that, they should hit each other. There you go. So because they're in a flat positioning, they're pretty much bouncing vertically in a very, as if it was a rigid body type of bouncing effect. They're not colliding between each other, which is what we want. So I'm going to start the animation. Just create a bunch of objects here that these guys are going to hit against. No. So for that I'm going to pretty much select a couple of spheres and place them here. I'm going to scale them up. I'm going to go to the top view to see where they are. W, I'm going to place them here, Control D, Control D, Control D. Just want to create a space where they're going to have to kind of be forced to stay and create the composition that I'm more interested in. There we go, this could start hitting. We don't want the objects to hit before they start, so be careful with that. Scale, probably like this. Let me press 5 to say this, and scale, flatten down, and W to move it around. Let's hope, I mean some of them could escape, definitely, especially in this area. Let me W. Okay, we have kind of a canyon in a way that I'm going to try to force these guys to collide down there and see if it works. Obviously they're not going to collide against these guys unless we select them all. I'm pressing Shift to select, and again we have to press create passive rigid body. Okay, the moment we do that, I press 4 to have the wireframe scene, and let's press and see what happens. Start colliding. The objects are memory time because my computer is slow, and at the same time there's some geometry that the computer has to calculate. So we want to stop it some way within the process of the animation. If you want to let it go, you have to increase this number, obviously. And as you can see here, it takes a little more time. Hopefully it does it. No, let me escape this. There we go. I think that's a composition that may or may not be interested. That's more of your decision to evaluate. So now what I'm going to do is a very simple process of pressing 5 and selecting the guys that I don't want to see. Hide them with Control H, and you can use the floor. And if you had actually given the first module all the material definition, there you will have each of them having that same of quality, like reflection and type of shading device, etc., etc. So this will be the time to render it probably realistically as a number of pieces with interesting composition. So you probably want to check the tutorial on realistic rendering with the blend material and try to render this with a nice shadow and decide different compositions in different time frames, and that will be your first line in the possible grid composition of the final panel. Okay, so hope you enjoyed this one.